and welcome to another episode of Hallmark. I'm Kristen.
I'm Aya.
And this is the first of our Christmas in July weekly episodes.
Merry Christmas.
In
one
July.
and all. In July, one and all. Yeah.
And we started with My Christmas Love,
My Christmas Love,
which we
yes.
can watch on Prime here in Australia.
Yeah.
We just watched it, so it's fresh.
Yes, we'll be sharing some reaction videos onto our socials. Yeah.
What's this movie about?
Okay. So My Christmas Love stars Meredith Hagner and Bobby Campo. They are the leads. They are the love interests, I guess. Cynthia and Liam. So a hopeless romantic, Cynthia, who can't ever seem to give a guy a real chance, begins receiving each of the 12 days of Christmas as gifts anonymously at her door and begins to believe that the mystery suitor may finally live up to her expectations.
I don't know if she never gives any guys a chance, because like when we see her at the beginning of the movie with Jason, she's like, this is it, I think it's gonna be great, and then he breaks up with her.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think she goes in too hard too fast.
Yes.
It's probably her problem.
Do you want to hear like my plot version? Sorry,
Absolutely, that was IMDb.
So that because to your point, she is not a hopeless romantic. She is a woman who's just
Desperate to find love.
like obsessed with the idea, is so like has got such severe tunnel vision, and when something doesn't go her way, it's kind of like she just behaves like a child. So yeah, we see her at the start of the movie. She's broken up with by Jason, and she huffs and puffs, and she's then goes to a small town where she grew up for her sister's wedding. In comes Liam. She works with him. I think she's an
author,
children's book author, and he's the illustrator. So they work together. So he comes, and he's now the plus one to her wedding because of Jason. We've said goodbye to Jason. But they also use this opportunity to work and meet a deadline that's never discussed in this movie at all. And never met. So yes, we see them go to her family home, and then all of a sudden she's meeting all these guys that she knew from when she was a child, and then all of a sudden after that she starts receiving gifts anonymously one day at a time, the 12 days of Christmas, as we know.
Gifts start coming to the door.
Yes.
I think it's the way to work.
The gifts start coming to the door. Someone knocks on the door. She happens to answer.
And nobody speaks.
No one says, Cynthia, this is for you. Like, nothing is said. Yeah. So we have that. Gifts keep happening, and she kind of like tries to figure out who it is, and she thinks that it's like these... First of all, she thinks... Oh, we'll get into who she thinks it is, but like she thinks it's the guys maybe from the town. She thinks it's the guy that's just broken up with her.
She thinks it's Liam.
She thinks that it's Liam. And then eventually, I don't even know how, I did this last week. I don't know how to explain what happens.
And then she finds out that she's been selfish the whole time. The gifts were never actually for her.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, yes, that's the more condensed version. I was going to go into the fact that she thinks it's one of the guys, and he's like, yeah, and then turns out it's not, and then she thinks it's Liam and thinks, oh, I'm meant to be with you, and then that's when we have the little conflict, and then we come to what KB's saying is that turns out it's not even for her, and then she ends up with Liam anyway because she realized she's selfish, and
she's loved him all along.
Yeah, and he's like, cool, you're interesting, but we'll give this a go anyway. The end.
So succinct.
Yeah. So that's the plot.
It is a little convoluted, but it does make sense when you watch it. Cynthia is probably up there on the unlikable female lead list.
Yeah, and it's they made her character so unlikable, so unhinged, just someone who's just like so, I don't even know, scattered. I don't even know.
I'm just excited about stuff.
Yeah.
And like, I don't, it's absolute tunnel vision, like obsession without clarity. It's just absolute, what I would expect from like the One Direction era of teenagers who are just like,
Yeah.
It's that energy.
Because, like, when she gets broken up with at the very beginning, Jason breaks up with her. She thinks things are going well, and he's like, I mean, to be fair, like, he didn't do it in a good way. He gives her a gift for Christmas, and then he's like, but jokes, we're not actually going to be together anymore. And she kind of reacts and huffs and puffs and walks out.
I mean,
I don't know.
Fair, I was broken up with in a similar way.
Oh, really?
It wasn't a gift. He was coming over and I was cooking him dinner, and he brought over like a tub of ice cream, and it was like,
Stop!
Yeah.
No. And when this is for you
like,
for after.
Yeah, basically.
KB.
Yeah.
That I've never heard that.
So sorry. Just
That is fascinating.
There are guys who think that might soften the blow. And to be honest, the ice cream at the time was great. Can I eat that flavour of ice cream with that brand anymore? Not at all.
That's true.
And she will never be able to buy another Christmas decoration because that's what he gave her.
He gave her 2 doves.
Yeah, 2 total. That is the confusing part. They're like, I'm going to give you a symbol of love.
Yeah.
But I'm breaking up with you. And that's just the beginning of this movie.
Yeah.
Kim.
Yeah. So they break up.
I don't think I get the level of incessant need to have a partner. And so I guess if we're relating to one of the characters in this movie, the sister would probably be closer to what
She's more
practical.
Yes.
But like she's the extreme of practical of like everything has to be simple, everything has to like no big extravagant gestures, nothing.
Romance is not needed.
Romance is like unnecessary. Let's just do everything as drama free as small as possible.
Yeah.
And so that it's interesting because I feel like if they had just kind of brought these characters a little bit closer into the center of the spectrum, they would have been quite easy to watch. Yeah,
it was difficult to watch, like how they, I don't know, the writer just went, let's make them like literally polar opposites. Like you're at 0, you're at 100. Not even 20, 30 and 70.
No.
It was,
and then the men around them all are so, again, very normal trope of being so laid back.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, although having said that, the sister's partner Roger, at the first 3 times he spoke, I was like, this could turn into a Christmas horror film. Like,
he gave off, I've never spoken to a human before. And yet somehow he was getting married. It's like stuff like that. It's like, I'm sorry, you're in a relationship and you're getting married? What's wrong with me? I know it's like a movie, but yeah. But okay, so Cynthia invites Liam, her work colleague, friend, to her sister's wedding.
Yes. Which means that he has to stay with the family for 2 weeks.
Yeah, because they end up going for 12 days, apparently. Yeah. Which is a long time.
It's a long time. He could have just come up later. The wedding was on Christmas Day.
Yeah. And she definitely, like, as soon as they get to the town, you don't get an idea that maybe he has a crush on her, I don't think, at the beginning, right?
I think he's very attentive.
Yeah, but
and friendly, which could be probably misconstrued as a crush, but it isn't until really they get to the family home that you're like, hang on a minute.
And like whenever she sees like a guy from her past in her old family hometown, she's always like, oh, he's just a friend. He's just a friend. Like we just work together. He's just a friend. And then you start seeing more reactions, and at first you're kind of like, oh, I thought his reactions at first were like, oh, I know what she's doing. She's just doing this so she's like making it really clear that she's available. And then eventually I was like, oh, okay, no, they're trying to make it seem like he's into her. But I didn't understand that vibe at first because it didn't seem like he cared for her in that way.
No.
Yeah.
Which does also give us an interesting meet cute situation, I guess, because there isn't one, but there is kind of like 3 re-meetings. So like Liam and Cynthia at the beginning of the movie have a very clear we already know each other vibe. We don't find that out for another like 5 to 10 minutes as to what that vibe is actually.
Yeah.
So we never see them meet. And then the two guys, her ex high school sweethearts, also are like like they already know each other. They recognize each other. It's just like a, hey, remember me? Yeah, oh my goodness, it's so nice to see you. And there's a little bit of flirty banter and all that kind of stuff. But there's no real meet cute moment in this film.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
I thought, like, at first there was going to be, like, one when she gets pulled over by the police, but then turns out it's just one of the guys
that she already knows.
That she already knew. Speaking of the guys, so there are 3, I guess, once Jason at the very beginning moves on, there are 3 kind of, I mean, there were 3, and then there were kind of 2. But initially, we're introduced to kind of 3 main love interests who are like, oh, are they the ones that gave me the gift? But it's probably more to the 2 others than Liam. But so we've got, I wrote the names down, Grant. Mm-hmm. She met him second.
Yes.
So I don't know why I started with him. It's because I wrote his name down first. She met him at the wreath store.
Yes.
The wreath store?
The wreath store.
The tree store.
No, the wreath store.
The wreath store.
Yeah.
Where he said,
he was keeping all that. She was like, oh, you've all the best wreaths are gone. He's like, no, they're here and under the table because I put them aside because they go so quickly, and then at like 10 minutes before closing somebody comes in looking for a good wreath, so I put them under here so that the single working mothers don't miss out.
And so that you kind of go, oh my god, you're the worst, like you don't.
That's what I said. I said, oh, that's so sweet.
I just kind of thought it was like, I saw it as like a move, like you are such an arrogant asshole that you think that you can bed a single working mother.
Like, oh, that's nice to think of the people who always miss out on stuff.
Yeah. Turns out he's a priest. So that's why he was being so charitable. Okay, so you got him, and he's white with brown hair. And you're like, and good looking. And you're like, cool.
And maybe like a slightly Italian vibe.
Yeah. Yes.
As with all the others.
Yeah, that's true. Then you've got, back to the first guy she meets, Scott, who's the policeman who pulls her over. He's very handsome.
Better looking with the sunglasses
on. He walks, he's like strutting up to the car, and he's got like the policeman outfit, and he's got the aviators. He's like, hello.
Yeah.
And you're like, vibes.
Also a white brunette.
Yeah,
male.
white brunette. But his shirts cling on to those chest pecs.
We'll probably put up a video about it, let's be real, but he looks like he is The Bachelor. You know when you think about The Bachelor?
Yes.
This is this guy.
And he literally holds roses.
All the time.
Like, happened multiple times in this movie. So you got him. And then obviously the third guy is Liam, who is white with brunette.
Brown hair.
Yeah, brown hair.
Italian vibes.
Yeah, and they're all just really good looking. Like,
even Jason, who broke up with her at the beginning of the movie. Tall, brunette, white.
Yeah. It was their diversity. What is that? Not in 2016.
All the girls were blonde. All the men were brunette.
Yeah, it's very true. So you got the 3 white men.
The 3 white men, not the 3 wise men.
The 3 white men. Okay, let's get into when she starts getting the gifts.
Mate. I mean, it's a cute idea, and honestly, I think, again, maybe this will be a video we pop on the socials of us just trying to, like, guess who it is.
Yeah.
And, like, going back with other Hallmark movies, being like, oh, in that other movie it was this person, so it's probably this person now.
Yeah. We're trying to, like, use our prior knowledge and research to make a good guess.
An educated guess. And we got pretty close.
We got close.
Like, we were like, there were moments where we were like, they're not for her.
No.
And then there are other moments that were like, oh, it's going to be from Dead Mom. So, like, if we had put those two together, we would have guessed it.
Yeah.
But it's the 12 days of Christmas, as in the song, the 12 days of Christmas, where you get a partridge in a pear tree and so on and so forth. I'm not going to list all 12 because I can't remember them. So every day for 12 days, she gets one of the days of Christmas gifts, which also slightly hilarious because the first day of Christmas is meant to be Christmas Day.
Yeah, why didn't they start with the
Whereas in this movie, the 12th day of Christmas is Christmas Day.
Yes. Yeah. To be fair, like, I know this is like not, it's a random reference, but in The Office, when Andy does the same thing for Erin, he does do it in that order too.
But starting Christmas Day?
No, it's not even like, and doesn't even end Christmas Day.
Oh, yeah.
It's like just one of the Christmas episodes where we come in halfway and she's like, stop giving me swans and stuff like that. And then,
Whereas, like, this one did get a little bit creative. So we got the first 5 days were exactly what they say they are.
Rare animals. Rare birds that apparently you need licenses for.
All on one farm now.
Yeah.
Not even a farm. They live in, like, a hotel building. It's huge, a huge house.
Yeah.
And then from that point onwards, things get, like, a little bit different. The 6 geese a lane are on pillows, like giant pillows. The 7 swans are swimming a 7 swan champagne brand with like little swans on the champagne glasses, so it looks like the swans are swimming.
The 8 maids
milking were actual like girls dressed up as milkmaids but were just carrying buckets. They weren't
and 9 ladies dancing looked like Fiona from Shrek. They all wore a green dress. The Lords are leaping.
The Lords are leaping.
The Lords are leaping.
My favourite.
They were leaping. And then at that point, Cynthia had opened the door every day to receive these gifts.
Yes,
she want to make that clear.
Because from the very beginning, the very first gift, the woman hands it. Plus, what we should probably tell you is that everyone who delivers these gifts and everyone who is a part of these gifts don't talk.
No, they don't say, hello, are you Cynthia? They don't say thank you or goodbye or when they're asked a question, they just go nod like an idiot.
With no words. So she, when delivered the first gift of a partridge in a pear tree, she just makes the assumption that she's being given the gift because it's for her. There are 5 other people in the house. Yeah. 4 other people in the house.
Yeah.
But she makes the assumption that these gifts for her, they're meant for her. They're the most romantic gesture in the world. The card says, Merry Christmas from your one true love.
On the first day,
On the first day. And then on the 12th day, there is a letter attached to the final gift. Now, the handwriting in both things are exactly the same.
Wait, are we revealing it now?
I mean, we kind of already have.
Well, yeah, so it was, the mum to the dad.
Mum, yes, was sending one final grand gesture to the husband.
But wouldn't you know your own mum or your wife's handwriting?
That would be
I would know if my parents sent me something. I know exactly what their handwriting looks like.
Absolutely.
So
wild.
Yeah.
But no, she doesn't figure it out.
Yeah.
She decides that it has to be
for her.
Yeah. And that it has to be firstly Grant, which is probably why you wrote it down first.
I did, and then it's revealed that he's a priest. And then so I asked you in the movie because I come from a Russian Orthodox background where the priests marry and have children. So I'm obviously familiar with like Catholicism, studied religion at school, whatever. But I forget what the rules are in the various religions.
He's
so
a Catholic priest, so he could not get married.
Yeah, okay. I was confused at first, but yeah, sure.
So then she says like a snide remark to Liam, being like, "It's not you," and he's like, "No, it's not me." Like he plays coy, and then he's like, "No, it's not me."
Yeah.
So then she's like, "Oh, it has to be Jason. He's the only one who knows."
The boyfriend who broke up with her. Yeah.
He's the only one who knows I'm here in town. Yeah. And I'm like, there are lots of people who know you're here in town.
Literally all the other guys that you've spoken to have said, "Oh, we were just told you were coming to town." Like people knew in advance that you were coming to town.
So then she rocks up to Jason's place. She drives back out to the city, knocks on his door, and it's like, "I got all your presents," but he's already with another girl. So she drives all the way back, and she's like, "It has to be Scott."
The policeman, hottie with the hugging body.
He has some very tight shirts on.
Yeah.
And Scott neither confirms or denies whether the gifts are from him. But she never actually asks him directly.
No. He rocks up for a date and happens to have singers and bachelor roses in his hand.
Looking like the bachelor.
Looking like the guy, the bachelor, but also the guy who's given gifts. And then he says one thing like, "Oh, you're my one true love." And she went, "Oh, you're the one who gave me the gifts." And then she kind of just starts talking about the gifts because he already knew that gifts were being given. See, he definitely took advantage of this situation and went, I know you're getting gifts. You haven't figured it out. No one said anything. You all of a sudden think it's me. It's me then.
Yeah.
It's going to be me.
And then they share a mid-movie kiss. So you kind of know from the beginning that, like, it cannot be. It cannot be him.
Yeah.
Like, yes, we've had mid-movie kisses in the past where it has been the guy at the end, but you just knew then. The vibe was off.
Yeah, but also so weird to have a mid-movie kiss between two people who don't end up together. Because I feel like even when they're set up as being a couple at the beginning of the movie and, you know, they drift apart, you don't really see couples kiss. So it was weird to see a definite not couple who've been together for like 5 seconds.
It's wild.
Kissing.
And then she goes straight into the house and is like, hey, Liam, so I'm going to take Scott to the wedding. The whole reason that you're here in town and living with my family, you can still come to the wedding. It just won't be with me.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm sure if we go back through the video, both of our faces would be livid. That is so rude.
It's so rude, so selfish. This is where this is where I'm like, I have a problem with her being called a hopeless romantic because she's so self-absorbed, clearly doesn't care about anyone else's feelings. She latches onto this idea that it's Scott and everything's perfect, and she's like, oh, well, Liam's fine. She doesn't actually even care about him. And
she doesn't ask him if it's okay.
And then he's like, oh, okay. I'm sorry, if that were me, I'd be like, no, then I'll be leaving.
Yeah,
Thanks.
I'm going to go home.
I'm going to go home.
Thanks
you don't
for
need
wasting
me.
my time.
Thanks, yeah. Or I'd say, probably more accurately, I'd say, but you know that's incredibly rude, right? You invite me and then you're uninviting me. What kind of friend are you?
How about we go to the wedding together and you can just sit with Scott?
Yeah. Yeah. That was terrible. The fact that, you know, he apparently liked her this entire time and then continued to like her after that moment, no.
Wild.
Yeah.
Wild, 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 wild.
Yeah.
Wild. Do you know what else is super wild?
Oh.
There's like 16 Christmas trees in one room in this film.
Yeah. We haven't reviewed a Christmas movie in a while.
We haven't reviewed a Christmas movie in such a long time. So.
And when she arrives to the family home, there are no decorations. Like, the mum hasn't been alive for like a bit. Not long, but a bit.
It seems to be like under a year.
Yeah, under a year for sure. And so, like, the vibes aren't festive. And what does she say? She says, it's like our family tradition that we
have a tree.
That we have a tree and lights. And it's like, yeah, cool. That's like not just your family tradition. That's like every family tradition. So then she decks the place out with boughs of holly.
She does.
And yeah, puts like many trees in one room.
And like various sizes and styles and all that. But
you got the big one.
You've got a little one. And then you got kind of like not palm leaf. What are the like really little ones that were really vertical?
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
They still look like a Christmas tree, but they're like thin and long.
Not garb.
Oh, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't have said that because I could have just ignored it. Damn it. Oh.
So how many did we end up counting?
So Christmas trees in total with roughly 32. It gets hard in these movies, particularly like exterior shots where you go,
have we seen this before?
Yeah, have we been in this shop before? I don't know. Or like even the room, like towards the end, you're like, oh, there's another tree. I was like, haven't we seen that? Or is that a new one?
Yeah.
So 32 is what we've got so far.
That's a lot of trees.
Yeah.
That's a lot of trees, a lot of gifts, a lot of men. There's a lot of things in this movie.
A lot of things, a lot of interesting personalities.
A lot of interesting I know had we met this character in real life, we would not be friends.
But the thing is, like, even though her character was so unlikable and just so, like, just a lot, like, just I couldn't deal with it. Her acting wasn't bad.
No, everyone's acting in it is very
Everyone's
good.
acting's really good. It's like, oh, cool. If your character choice was to play someone completely obsessed and unhinged, well done. You've achieved that.
Yeah.
It was just uncomfortable to watch, I think.
Which is fine.
I guess so. But I found myself, like, looking away a little bit.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it didn't feel slow.
No, it actually felt okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a manageable watch, which it quite often is.
Yeah. Are there any like other like little? I'm just trying to think of like all like the little random, just little moments that happened, like Scott dancing with her. Any kind of dancing scene was uncomfortable to watch because no one knows how to dance,
And there's like professional dancers in there who are doing like lifts and things.
yeah, and then like just her sister was, and just I know we've already talked about how they're like polar opposites, but it was just. I don't know. It was just, she was so, I don't even know.
I just don't, like, it. I think what was clear is that Cynthia hadn't been around for when their mum had passed. She had going through treatment and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas Janet, the sister, had been. So she was obviously more affected by it.
Yeah.
And in her coping mechanism went to the very like structured routine boundaries,
and like she wouldn't wear her mum's wedding dress, and I don't know if it's because she didn't want to, but she came like she wanted a practical wedding dress, which was ill-fitting first of all, and just I don't just her whole why are you having this wedding, and the wedding being on Christmas Day, and he said, oh, it's like the perfect time to have it. It makes sense because all the families are together.
And everyone has the day off.
Everyone's got the day off. And, I mean, we were talking in the movie and we both said, I probably would go to a wedding on Christmas Day. But from my perspective, it's because I'm near my family and I see them quite a bit. So it's not like I dedicate Christmas Day to... and also if they were invited too and they went to the wedding too, that's fine.
Yeah.
But it's actually, I feel like, a lot to expect of people to maybe set aside the one day that they spend together as a family.
Especially in the States, because I feel like we have kind of the offices closed down and we have that week between Christmas and New Year to do whatever we like with.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like, and tell me if I'm wrong, like Christmas Day is kind of it. And even then, most people still kind of work on Christmas Day.
Do they have Boxing Day?
I don't know.
I have no idea. Well, yeah, and while people go away here for like, when people in Australia, now that it's winter, people go to Europe for like summer and stuff, so they have holiday time then. But a lot of people do dedicate actual summer for their time off, so it's more than just one day. Like I usually take 2 weeks off or something. Yeah. So it's just, I don't know what the work kind of, not ethic, but the kind of situation is there that, maybe it's literally just
the day.
Just the day.
And do you want to be using that day to go to a wedding?
But you think about all the movies we've watched where deadlines have been Christmas Eve.
That's true.
So maybe that is an actual thing. I don't know. As Australians, we don't know.
No.
We just make assumptions based on what Hallmark tells us, really.
Well, our only knowledge of the American culture is through Hallmark movies.
Yeah, literally. Probably should... No, that's enough. I don't need to learn more. I see enough on the news.
That's fair.
So, we've mentioned the plot twist that it ended up being the mother giving the gifts to her. I thought that was nice,
I thought that was really nice.
I mean, when you think about it, it's predictable.
Yes. But it is really nice. And he was he had a really nice kind of vibe to him the whole movie. Just being like, what are you doing, kids?
Yeah. He was quite switched on that. He could see Liam liked her, and then he could see eventually that Cynthia liked Liam, and he's kind of subtly giving metaphors to each of them, being like, wake up.
What you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice. And then he got a little romance at the end, you know?
Yeah.
And the little hand touch.
Oh, bless. So it was all happy for everyone.
Seemed to be. Well, everyone lived happily ever after, according to the end of the movie.
Yeah, Cynthia ended up with Liam. The dad ended up being just letting maybe stuff go a bit more with his wife, and then ended up dancing with a woman who we'd seen throughout the movie who clearly liked him. And Janet and her new husband, Roger, became a bit more chilled out.
Yes. They're going on a honeymoon.
Their wedding day. Yeah,
which they were not before.
They weren't going on a honeymoon, and all of a sudden they were.
I think that is the thing. Is there the lack of compromise?
Yeah. Just between them,
like between Janet and Roger, between Cynthia and literally anyone she met, like it was like our way or the highway the whole time.
Yeah.
I want to a grand romantic relationship, it has to look like this. I want a very simplistic, minimalist relationship. It has to look like this, and we're not going to discuss it.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. And it's also like, particularly Janet and Roger's relationship. It's like, what have you been talking about and doing before this? Like, he was hiding brochures and bridal magazines from her, and
that's not nice.
she made it sound like it was like a relationship out of like, not convenience, but just comfort. I don't even know.
It was the easiest type of relationship.
Yeah.
So why not?
Yeah.
Kind of deal. Until the end, when you're like, oh, she actually does love him.
She does.
The whole time you're like...
She just lets go.
Yeah. Let him go.
Cynthia rubs off on her a bit, and then Cynthia, I don't know.
I guess she lets go of the whole, like, need for excessive romance.
I think once she realised that she was being a spoiled brat and made everything about her when literally nothing was about her, she kind of had a realisation and went, oh, I probably should not be like this anymore.
So after 30 minutes of everything we didn't like about this movie...
I mean, we said that the acting was good. That's one thing.
It is good. 3 things you did like about this movie. There were no dogs.
Lots of animals, though.
There were no children, though. So.
Oh, loved that. That was good. I would say that the acting was pretty good. The acting felt natural, and even with like a somewhat cringy, and like the script wasn't too bad, but like it had cringy moments, but you're like, oh, you actually made that sound less cringy. I liked all the I thought the decorations looked nice, actually, the festive decorations in the house. It wasn't, even though there were like 16 trees in one room, I felt like it was okay.
Yeah. It was quite a large room.
It was quite a large room. It was a large house, but it was done in a tasteful, not over the top kind of way.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I think that's good.
Two things that you liked.
I mean, maybe I'll think of a third one. I was going to say, did I like the whole 12 Days of Christmas? No. As fun as it is, you know, with a performer's background, no.
I just couldn't. And like from both sides, like I think if that came to my door, I'd be like, absolutely not. But if I had also had to be the person doing it, I'd be like, absolutely
I would cry,
not.
particularly being like the Lords leaping when no one was home and just jumping up and down.
Yeah.
But I think they're 2 strong ones. The acting was good and Christmas vibes were good too. So that's all you can really ask for.
Okay, that's good.
Oh, sorry. No, I will say a third thing. I did like that the dad had like a special kind of like letting go moment.
Yeah.
And that they were all actually seemed really nice and emotional when they found out the letter was, and the gifts were from the mother who passed on. So that's 3.
That's 3 things. You did it. 3 things.
Your turn.
I really liked Liam's drawings.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah.
They were really nice. Yeah. And like different styles and the whole time. No, he's probably not drawing them himself, but they were nice to look at.
Do you know what? Sorry, quickly on that. It seemed like the most believable artist kind of thing we've seen. Like when, you know, I know it's been like there's no paint on the brush before, but it looked like he was actually drawing.
Yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
I liked. You've already kind of said them. I really liked. There were a lot of like sweeping exterior shots of just like snowy trees and beautiful sunsets. That was nice because it also didn't feel like they had just gotten stock like they may have gotten stock images, but it didn't have that feeling to it.
Yeah, that's true.
And I liked that it didn't. Like it felt like we watched a very succinct hour and a half movie.
There wasn't like nonsense stuff in there. It felt useful.
Yeah, like everything that happened kind of happened from her own neurotic personality.
Oh, that's a good word to use for her.
Bam, 3 things.
3 things.
What?
Okay, so we've talked about the 3 things that we liked. Now we wrap it up with how many Christmas trees out of 10. I think I want to give it, I think just because her personality and really the cringiness of the 12 Days of Christmas, I'm tossing up between a 5 and a 6, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know whether a 6 is being too generous. because the acting was good and like the story. There was.
I don't know. I didn't mind it. I'm probably going more a 7.
Okay.
So if that helps with your 5 or 6ness, because I think even though there were a lot of cringy things about it, it's not the worst one we've ever seen.
No, it's not
even
the worst.
Close to being
No,
the worst
that's
one I've ever
true.
seen. And I probably would watch it again.
I wouldn't. And I think I looked away quite a bit.
Yeah.
So the more I think about it, do you know what? I'm going to give it a 5.5. No,
You're going to give it 5.
I'm going to give it a 6.
You're going to give it 6?
I regret it. I was like, no, that seems too harsh.
So then a 6.5 all up seems pretty normal, pretty fair.
Yeah, so not the
6.5
worst,
out of
just
10.
not good.
No, and better than average.
Yeah, it is better than average.
Bam!
Done.
Look at that. Now, guys, we are releasing episodes weekly for the next 4 weeks after this.
Yeah, so
So
the last
all
one's
of
like,
July. I think it's the 31st of July.
literally the 31st of July.
It will be the last weekly episode for now. And we already have all the movies we want to watch all lined up. So we're
Yeah.
going to keep posting those to socials. So if you have any suggestions, we're doing things slightly differently for Christmas in July in that they're not all Hallmark. We're gonna review a Stan original. We're going to review a Netflix original.
Yes.
We're going to see that how they follow the Hallmark-esque formula.
For sure.
And go from there. For those of you who are overseas listeners, Stan is an Australian streaming service.
That's true. That's true. You wouldn't know. And you can't use it.
And you can't use it. So
Yeah.
we apologise in advance.
But you have access to more things, so
That's true.
it's fine.
Any shameless plugs or asking for free stuff this weekend?
I mean, we want to make actual Christmas time an absolute extravaganza, so start sponsoring us now so that we can really ramp this up by November. That's not really a one. Anyway, that's enough from us. Merry Christmas and July.
Bye.
Bye.